Hello everyone. In my job I have the privilege of travelling to some pretty interesting places, and I try and run wherever I travel. So let's have a look at some of the tips I might give you for running while travelling. Firstly, let's have a look at the kit you're going to pack. All you really need are a pair of shoes, some good socks, maybe a pair of running shorts or tights with some shorts and a shirt. Doesn't have to weigh very much. This one only weighs 900 grams. The next thing you want to do is to look at where you're going to be traveling to. And ideally, you want to link into your friends or some locals just to give you some information on great runs. Of course, there are other sources of information. You can jump onto Facebook or Google. And a really good set of clubs exists around the world called the Harrier clubs. There's 1,700 of them around the world. Just have a look at whether there's one in the place where you're going, or just put in local running club. It's great to link up to them. Alternatively, you can jump onto two apps or the one of your choice. Map My Run or Strava will have runs across the world, and there's likely to be some interesting runs for where you're going to as well. Just be aware that the information you get will differ between rural areas that are really quite poorly mapped through to urban areas giving you a lot of information about the terrain, the weather, the surface, and things that you can look out for while you're running. And pay particular attention to your elevation levels and also the terrain that you're going to be running through. I've had some really great runs around the world, and I'd like to tell you just quickly about 3 of them just to give you an idea. The first one was in Juba in South Sudan, which is a really insecure place. It suffered a fair amount of conflict over the years. Now, I joined up with the local Harrier club, and we had some really great runs, most of them through the town of Juba. But on one occasion, we were able to get a security detail and run on the banks of the White Nile. That was fantastic. Other great memories for me were running in the rural areas of Tanzania, where you would hear the children shouting after you, Mzungu, Mzungu, which means white person. I was able to run in a number of towns, but in a small town called Ifakara, I was able to join up to the local soccer club who were training at the same time as I was running, and I spent a good number of days running with that team. The real pity was that it was off-season and I never got to see them play, but thanks guys for that experience. Another great run was in Kathmandu in Nepal. Now, Kathmandu is a pretty congested area, as you can see, but I was able to pick up a really interesting run of my app, and it took me through all the back roads and alleys of Kathmandu in a really big circle. I would never have seen those parts of the city if I had not followed that run. Yes, I had to dodge dogs along the way, trudge through a few rubbish dumps, but that was all part of the experience. Really fantastic memories there. And finally, what I'd advise you to do is really be aware of risks while you're planning. Pay attention to information about your elevation. The height above sea level can really affect your running and your breathing, whether it's hilly, what the surface is like, whether you're going to be running on firm surface or soft surface, also keeping an eye on the weather. When you set out on the day, really make sure that someone knows where you're going, leave information if you're not going to run with anyone else, wear your appropriate gear, and always have good communication with you, meaning a functioning phone. And then also make sure that before you set out, review your trip route, just so that you know exactly where you're going and where you're going to be in the city. But other than that, get out there and have fun.